Hey
Hi.
guys, how's it
Hi
going?
guys.
So,
So,
we're back for another
How are you?
relationship video. How you doing?
I'm going good.
You good?
I feel like, well, we have some, because we've been meeting every morning.
We meet
and then
every
we work
morning.
out every morning together.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
cool.
I feel like this is the one time where we're actually calm when we're sitting down next to each other.
So, I know you guys have heard us talk about how messed up our thoughts were about what a marriage was, perfect marriage, because I mean we didn't really have an example for what a perfect marriage. Not that we have a perfect marriage. We don't. Nobody does, in my opinion.
Maybe
But-
somebody does. I don't
No.
know. I don't know.
If they do,
but okay.
well, that's what we're talking about today. A perfect marriage. I just had this image in my head of this wonderful couple that never
Would you
argued.
like a cup of coffee?
If you got the Stepford Wives, the movie.
Yep.
Like, I didn't think it was that extreme, but I don't know. I just thought like, because the image that you normally see of a couple that's in trouble are people arguing. So my whole thing was like, okay, the perfect marriage must be two people that don't argue, right?
Right.
So I think pretty early on in our marriage, I was able to understand and really dig deep on what it meant to argue. And I came to the conclusion, now that I understood it, if two people that were raised in different households with completely different lives and standards
Morals,
and
beliefs.
morals, and if they never have a disagreement, my belief now is somebody's lying. And let me tell you why I say that. Because I've actually been around couples that never argue, right? Like
In front of you.
in front of me, or it appeared that they always got along. There was never a disagreement, and I could almost set my watch by it. You wait a good 6 months, and either fireworks were flying at that particular point, or they were not together anymore.
Right.
And I'm gonna share what I think, and then I want you to kind of chime in whenever you want to. But my whole thing is like, listen, when you have two people come together and try to combine their lives, there's going to be conflict. And what tends to happen is, because we want our relationship to be perfect, then we don't say anything. Like we don't have a platform to talk about the things that concern us. I'm not advocating arguing. My point is I think that for us, we found ways to avoid arguments proactively, and I wanted to kind of talk about that. But first, before I talk about that, I wanted you to chime in.
I just want to get back on the end of what you're saying. You're not advocating arguing, but what we're trying to do is let people know that arguing does not mean your relationship is over.
Right.
Arguing does not mean you're about to get a divorce.
Right.
Arguing does not mean that your relationship is not going to work. I think what happens in a lot of marriages is that, why you don't get past that first year is because that's when a lot of your arguing happens,
yes.
okay? And what society has led us to believe, movies and all of these fairy tale romance ideas, is that if we're arguing in our first year of marriage, we're arguing all the time, this was a mistake.
Right.
We're not meant for each other because we're not agreeing.
Right.
We're not happy.
Right.
And that is so not true. I feel like you're, like what you were saying, you're arguing because you're two completely different people.
Right. I remember watching this marriage counseling thing, and the solution that the counselor came up with them, they were arguing over which way the toilet paper rolled off of the front or the back. Like they're about to literally divorce over some toilet tissue. So the counselor said, okay, well, why don't y'all have two rolls? One to roll out the front, roll out. They like, wow.
It's basically
So-
like you learning about each other, and I feel like we had to do that. It took
Yes.
a long time of like me not
Yes.
understanding him
Right.
and being irritated with so many different things about his personality, and him feeling the same about me. Like, I don't understand why you not getting what it is that I'm trying to tell you, and I finally got it, and but I had to open up to it. I had
Right.
to open up to learning him and getting to know him, because and it's my personal belief that even when you get married, I don't care if you've been together 3-4 years now. Maybe if you've lived together, that's another thing. But if you haven't lived with that person, I don't care if you've been together 3, 4, 5 years. If you haven't lived with that person, you don't know them.
Right.
You still do not know them. It's completely different once you're married and you're in a household together.
Right.
So you have to spend that time getting to know this person, and it takes time.
Right.
It takes time.
So some of you guys may already know that I'm a skill development coach. That's my profession, right? So, like when I'm realizing now that I've learned a lot in my role as far as my professional world, is that some of the things that me and my wife actually started doing earlier in our marriage were really good for our marriage. I think, and we didn't know it at the time. Like, I didn't know about what I know now. So now we've actually even evolved that process. So here, I just want to kind of give you guys a little bit of that process, and hopefully it'll help in your situation. And this is something that can avoid conflict, well, not conflicts. Conflicts are necessary; they will happen, but it can help you avoid arguments. So basically, me and my wife, we sit down. Right now, we're sitting down daily.
Daily, every
Okay. And at times we've done it weekly, just depending on what was going on. But we sit down and we give the person the opportunity to talk about what they did well, like the things that they actually felt like, whatever it was for their week. What are they proud of? What are they excited about? Really giving them an opportunity to get it out on the table. Then they get the opportunity to talk about the things that they felt that they could have done better for the week. Now, the reason why I think this works is because I have an opportunity to talk about my own mess before you call me out on it. I feel much better about it. And I really want to say everything, because I know when you give your feedback, I don't want you to bring it up. Does that make sense?
Right. And I think most people want to take responsibility,
Right.
but it's just a whole different ball game when somebody else is trying to make you take responsibility.
Right.
Especially when you're grown. You don't want nobody trying to tell you what to do. That's just a natural human thing.
Right.
You just, it's something that makes you feel so much better
Right.
to be able to take responsibility.
You do feel better about it because you already know.
You already
You don't need your wife to tell you, you need to stop leaving your stuff. You already know it's bad.
Sometimes you get mad because of that, because it's like, so you think I don't know that? So.
Now, there is a time where I allow my wife, and then I'm just explaining my part of the process so you guys understand. So I allow her to give me feedback. Now, this is not an opportunity at that time to say, well, let me tell you what you need to work on. Actually, you should take that opportunity to tell them things that you feel like they're doing well. And that's a really good bonding opportunity, because sometimes we do things, either she does or I do, that we don't really know if the other one recognizes that's happening. So it's a good opportunity to do that. And then you'll have an opportunity to talk about the things that you feel like they can work on. But when you talk about it, I still feel like, and this is what we do, we form it in a phrase of questions. Not necessarily like, you did this, you did that. It's really more, now when you do this, can you tell me, how do you think that makes me feel? Or how, something to that effect, to where you're really asking questions rather than, you don't need to do that, and nobody wants to be, so in our relationship, I think when we do it, because we don't always do it, but when we do it and we do it right, we have less arguments. There's nothing to argue about because we've already put it out on the table.
Gosh, yes.
So if you guys like the format, I will consider doing another video where I'm a little more. Right now, I'm just kind of right now I'm just kind of talking through it real quick, because we don't want to make it a long video. But we can, if you're interested.
I mean, we've had videos dedicated to this, but I would love to do updated, like
it's
on my
evolved.
channel.
Right.
It's definitely evolved. So if you want to hear more about the meetings and how we do them, then let us know down in the comment section below. All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye. All right, mama. Let's go. Where I go? See, I don't know why I go through this.
That's what I do to Kelly.
Just jumping off of what you're saying is basically about, don't measure don't measure every little thing that every person is doing. It's just about teamwork. And sometimes you're going to have the bulk of everything around the house or around the family, and sometimes the other person is going to have it. But you want to avoid trying to measure, because it is going to create resentment, it's going to create anger.